Continued, but without putting any of that money in directly into the stock market. So you see, your money is protected from any market loss, and at the same time, you participate in the growth that is linked to the S&P 500. Okay, so you see, your money's protected from any market loss, and at the same time, you participate in the growth of the S&P 500 up to a cap, for example, 12%, with the protection from the downside market risk. All right, that should be pretty important, don't you think? And let me show you this. Let's say a few years back, you contributed $10,000 to the index strategy, and let's say the S&P 500 did 10% over the first year, okay? Now, we're at 2017. Let's say 2018. All right, let's say they earned 10%. You have $11,000 the first year. Second year, 2019, you earned another 10%, so that's at $12,100, okay? All right. Now, okay, in the third year, let's say the S&P loses 20%, okay? And that can happen. In fact, it has happened. But now, instead of your account dropping in value 20% to $9,600 in the third year, it remains at $12,100, all right? You're protected from loss on this. You're guaranteed protection from loss. All right. Now, all right, so you see why the indexed approach is quickly becoming one of the most popular, and you can see why it's one of the best ways to win the rate of return and the inflation battle, is able to get potentially higher growth, yet protect your principal from any downside market loss. All right, but Sherry, you can't just win the rate of return and forget about taxes, okay? In fact, I'm going to show you an example that's probably going to shock you in how important it is to employ both a rate of battle or return battle and the tax battle. Let's say 30 years ago there was a guy at the age of 30 and he wanted to have $1 million by the time he was 60. Now, he didn't understand any of this, so he just goes to the bank and says, "Mr. Banker, what do I need to do to save? What do I need to save every month for 30 years so I can have $1 million?" Back then, CD rates were about 5%. Now they're about 2 to 3%, but then they were at 5. Well, the banker figured it out and said, what you need to do is put away exactly $1,639.29 a month for 30 years at 5%, and you'll get your million. Well, he was totally discouraged when he left the bank and never saved a dime. Now he's a greeter at Walmart, and we've seen him, right? Now, what if we could have taught him to win these battles, and the rate of return battle and the tax battle? Okay? Look at how it drops that number. It's almost unbelievable. Let's win this one at a time. The rate of return, let's say he could have had an average of 10% interest instead of 5%. Okay? Okay. 18. Interest instead of 5%. Okay. Okay, let's get back to this. Let's say he could have averaged 10% interest instead of 5%. It takes the number clear down to $900 a month. Let me see. I'm using round numbers just for the sake of simplicity. But we can't guarantee future performance of the S&P 500 or any other index. You know, it has just averaged that much for the past 25 years. So it's been a real money saver. But however, Shara, can most people save $900 a month? Not just outright, all right? Let me show you some things. Probably not. However, that's $700 less than that guy, all right? That's significant, right? Now, what if we helped him to put his money away where it can't be taxed while it grows? All right? So with tax deferral, what does he have to put away? Let's look at $438 a month. Okay. Now, Shara, do you know people that can put away $438 a month? Probably a few more, a whole lot more. Okay. A lot of people. Maybe you could do that. Hey, you're blowing that much a month, right? I know you are. Okay. See, a lot of people, and that's not a big deal. See, it's not how much putting away, it's not putting away a ton. It's about putting away what you can at a decent interest rate, reducing taxes, and avoiding loss of principal. In fact, in step 6, when we're done, a person, Shara, knows how and when they'll potentially be totally financially independent. And if we do it right, we can literally shave years off that retirement date. All right? It's really neat. And let me ask this. If you were financially independent right now and you have enough in your nest egg so that every month you had enough that you didn't have to go to work anymore, what would you be doing, you and the kids? All right? What are your dreams and goals? I know you've been to Florida a couple of times. You love that. Okay, and you'll like to go to Taos. The boys love to go skiing. Okay. All right. And that's great. Now think about it. If you were financially independent, you have options, and that's the point. You can do what you want, when you want, and how you want. In fact, it was interesting. The other day we went through the implementation phase with a client. That's our second visit. And the wife was so excited, she gets up and says, you know what? I could go to the door and ask my neighbors when they were going to be financially independent. You know, nobody knows. You know nobody would know, but I do. You know what? At that time, she and her husband became one in it. They looked at each other and they're like, okay, we've got to do this. And because they knew that what their dreams were and when it was going to happen. It can be really exciting, okay? All right. And the last step is estate planning. A lot of times when using a trust, so upon death, you can leave a legacy instead of headaches and possible tax burdens for your family. How a trust helps you avoid probate and protection against liabilities. Also, the importance of having a will, a living will, a power of attorney, and that type of thing. Do you remember a while back the story about Terri Schiavo? The lady who became incapacitated and had the whole world arguing about what should happen to her. Imagine how different it would be for her and her family if she had only had a simple living will. Are you concerned about who would make medical, legal, and financial decisions for you? I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I know your kids. This is bad. Okay. All right, but we got to think about it. Are you interested in updating or creating a will or trust? Okay. Let me ask you, do you already have an attorney or other advisor? I know Kim could do that for you, our brother. Okay. All right. Well, we recommend that you engage an attorney who specializes in estate planning. You also have the alternative to use a company that isn't a law firm but prepares documentation for simple estate planning. And I can give you some companies that can prepare simple estate documents for you if you're interested. Okay? Great. So that's step 7. All right. And transitioning. All right. All right. Kind of neat, isn't it? Now let me ask you a very important question. If these seven steps, if we had to narrow it down to two that are your biggest priority in life, between increasing cash flow, eliminating debt, developing an emergency fund, life insurance protection, building long-term financial independence, and tax planning, which is critical, and estate planning if you could only pick two, okay? Which two would be left? All right? Okay, let me tell you what we do. We do what's called a financial needs analysis, so we can make sure the products we offer you are suitable for you, where in a second, I'll ask you a few questions to help determine what your needs are and what your goals and dreams are. Then I'll take this back to the office where we have a very sophisticated program, we really do, where we'll input your information, and it will help us develop a plan of attack specific around your needs and help you become one thing, financially independent the soonest. So it's really awesome. Now let me tell you the cost of this. When I come back, what I expect is a big pan of chewy brownies with that little thin crust on top and some green tea with coconut creamer. Thank you. That's all. No, I'm kidding. You don't pay us anything, okay? Now, we get paid by the company that for doing referrals. We get a referral fee and or a commission from them. You don't pay us anything, okay? So just get that out of your mind. All right. So it's a win-win situation. However, the information that I bring back to you will be only as accurate as the information we put in, okay? So work with me here because we're talking about your financial future, and if we can do this right, we can potentially shave years off your retirement date, okay? All right. Now, the first 3 or 4 questions are yes and no answers. I can't have a maybe. It's got to be yes or no, all right? And this will help me to short and midterm goals and where you're headed. In the next 2 to 3 years, do you plan on making a major purchase? House, car, anything like that? Okay. Now, I've got a financial needs analysis sheet, and we're going to go through this. Okay. All right, and it's just some things we need to be real blunt on, okay? And put this down because this is going to help me show you how to make your retirement happen, possibly faster, better, and with you financially independent, okay? All right. Now, man, Shira, this is going to be awesome when we get back together in a day or two. And John, you've got $400 we can work with a month, right? Okay. When we get back together, you're going to have a crystal clear picture of how and when you can potentially be totally financially independent, fulfilling your dreams and goals. You're going to love it, but you're going to need to listen, and I'm going to spend time on this because I know you're serious, and I'm going to be serious, okay? All right, it's going to be great. This is going to change the quality of your life, and you're going to owe me big. I need some friends of yours. Okay, real important to me that we build upon what we talked about today, so we need to set up a time within the next 24 to 48 hours that we can come back. But if we have to go clear into next week, I'll have to recapitulate everything that we just covered, you know. You forget, I forget, and so what's a time within the next 2 days that we can get together, okay? All right, Tuesday at 5 o'clock. All right. All right. So with that in mind, what's your schedule like? Okay. And we can do it Tuesday at 5? Okay. And I appreciate your information. Now, we'll go through the financial needs analysis, and if you've got any questions, I'll be sitting here and we'll finish this, okay? All right. Thank you so much. All right. before I leave, I want to ask you a couple of other questions. Very